You're listening to FirstAmendmentRadio.com worldwide. Freedom is never free. We need your support today at FirstAmendmentRadio.com.
Black helicopters, government corruption, waging war on the New World Order. It's all right here on the Jon Arthur Live Radio Show. Now, live from his worldwide command post in the studios of WXEI, 95.3 FM in Crestview, Florida. Here is Jon Arthur.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jim Michaels. Hello, America. Hello, world. The Jon Arthur Live Radio Show is on the air. We're broadcasting live this evening right here from the studios of WXEI 95.3 FM, the talk of Crestview. Coming up this hour, Motel 6 now, sending guests' personal info to the police every night. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about a bizarre PSA containing subliminal messages about martial law. And we'll also talk about the grand jury clearing a cop who shot a mentally ill man for simply holding a screwdriver. All this, plus your calls, 253-323-7555, 253-323-7555. Be a part of the show. Well, of course, we are seeing the big story tonight coming in from Baltimore, Maryland. Areas of Baltimore are now under siege for the third day as rioters are now battling with the cops. Areas of Baltimore under siege. Stores being looted. Cars being set on fire. Police cars being set on fire. And, again, the insanity continues. Folks, you know, we have to be smarter in life. We have to be smarter about racism. We have to be smarter when it comes to what we're seeing with the news media. Obviously, the news media is pumping up what's going on in Baltimore because it makes for some great ratings on the nightly news. But we also have to realize that, you know, this is not blacks versus whites. This may be the American people versus the police state. This may be the American people versus the New World Order. But we have to understand that we are all created equal. This is not a race issue. Well, Reverend Jamal Bryant, at the end of his eulogy for Freddie Gray, stated, "No justice, no peace." Obviously, a statement that's not going to ease the tensions as the violent protests are rocking Baltimore, Maryland. He yelled to those in attendance, "No justice, no justice," prompting them to yell, "No peace." So, you know, thousands attended today's service for Gray, a 25-year-old who died on April 19th after Baltimore police broke his neck, severed his spine, bruised his brain, snapped his leg, and crushed his larynx. Aside from what was obviously a brutal attack, the fact that medical professionals and an ambulance were not immediately called to the scene is criminal in itself. You know, we talked about this story on Friday, and I told you that, you know, realistically, my friends, this is what the New World Order and the police state is all about. They couldn't care less about you and I. They don't care about you and I. But it's not blacks versus white. It's not white cops versus blacks. It's the whole police state in general. Well, The police report stated that the arrest took place at 8:54 a.m., but the ambulance wasn't called till 9:24 a.m. So you got somebody who's literally dying from police brutality, and police decide, well, let's wait a while before we call the ambulance. Hopefully he'll die. So what's going on now in Baltimore? In response, rioters have destroyed local businesses. They have vandalized parked cars, attacked innocent bystanders. I mean, this is behavior that's not going to solve anything. So if you're listening in Maryland and you're a part of this, this is not solving anything. You know, attacking people's innocent private property or attacking a police car or brutalizing somebody because their skin is white is utterly ridiculous. If you've got a problem with the police state, then you need to voice your displeasure now. Because every single day on this radio show, we reveal to you all the sickening police state nonsense that's going on. And the entire time, you know, folks say, yeah, we need to stop that, but they do nothing about it. Now is your chance, Baltimore, Maryland, to expose the police state. It's not about race. It's all about a new world order and a police state that is now becoming egregious, has been egregious. It's roaring. It's rearing its ugly head, folks. The Baltimore, Maryland, Stephanie Rawlings Blake admitted, by the way, that city officials and the police, they gave rioters space to destroy private property. How outrageous is that? that the mayor and the Gestapo, the city officials and the police, they said, yeah, we're gonna let them just destroy some stuff for right now. Just let them do it. Really? She said at a press conference this past Saturday over the weekend, while we tried to make sure that they were protected from the cars and other things that were going on, we also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well. Yeah, great mayor you are, Stephanie Rawlings Blake. What an idiot she is. Well, you know, go ahead and just destroy some stuff, maybe to make you feel better. It's simply outlandish. I mean, it's again, the politicians allowing criminality all in the hope that things will just get better by not cracking down or holding people accountable. It's sick. It really is. So now, you know, we've got these Baltimore riots going on. We've got streets, unsafe, stores being looted and burned, cops now getting injured. The National Guard has been deployed. When's it going to stop? Well, I can tell you that it's not going to stop until we as a nation face our problems. Until we as a nation turn back and repent of our sins and our evil lifestyle. Turn back to Jesus Christ. Well, the Washington Post is reporting today that police in Baltimore have received credible information that gangs are now planning to attack police following the funeral of Freddie Gray. The gangs that have been cited include the Black Guerrilla Family, the Bloods, and the Crips. And you know what's interesting is the Bloods and the Crips, they made a statement that, yes, they are uniting. They are uniting and will be taking on the Gestapo. See, here's my issue with all of this. The gangs are no better than the police. And the police are no better than the gangs. And in reality, the police have become a gang of their own. Well, the gangs are now forming a credible threat to law enforcement, which is only going to escalate things. Back in December, the New York Patrolmen's Benevolent Association declared that the New York Police Department would become a wartime police department and would act accordingly. That was following the execution-style shooting of two cops in Bedford. The New York Daily News reported before the shooting that a tattooed gang of militants declared open season on the NYPD in the wake of the Eric Garner grand jury decision, according to a threat a police union verified this weekend. 10 Black Guerrilla family members are preparing to shoot on-duty police officers. So said Sergeants Benevolent Association President Ed Mullins. The alleged shooter in the incident, Ismail Abdullah Brinsley, was said to have killed the police officers in retaliation for the deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner. Well, the New York Daily News said that Brinsley, who reportedly committed suicide after the execution, was suspected of being involved with the Black Guerrilla Family prison gang. See, all of this is just scummy. These gang members are scum. But, you know, they're not the only scummy ones. I mean, lately I've been dealing with biker-type gang-style insanity myself, where instead of trying to work things out, they'll break into your house and try and choke you to death. Well, the Black Guerrilla Family, also known as the Black Family or the Black Vanguard, was founded by George Jackson in 1966. So this is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, right? Jackson, a militant Marxist, was killed in 1971 during an escape attempt 3 days before he was scheduled to go on trial for killing a prison guard. So things are really, really escalating these days. And unfortunately, the police state is making things worse. I mean, surely our policing, our law enforcement, can go through remedial training nationwide and be taught that killing should be the last resort. If somebody's got a screwdriver in their hand, you take it from them. Because I can tell you that if somebody has a screwdriver in front of me, I will take it from them. If I can do it, a police officer can do it without a bullet. But it's so much easier just to be able to shoot somebody, right? So much faster and less work than if we just kill them, shoot them. I mean, it's outrageous. It really is. Well, an interesting story. Interesting story, my friends. A Dallas County grand jury has now cleared 2 police officers who shot and killed a man in his doorway. What's wrong with this picture? And here's the headline. Grand jury clears cops who shot a mentally ill man for holding a screwdriver. Dallas County grand jury has cleared 2 police officers who shot and killed a man in his own doorway, despite the fact that video footage does not corroborate the police report on why they killed him. It's about lying. It's about no more morality and no more righteousness. The problem I have here, my friends, and in our nation, is that the police will do everything they can to lie. There is certainly no accountability. And because there's no accountability, my friends, this is what you get. And sad to say, my friends, this is not going to change until we as a nation, until we as a country decide that, you know what, maybe we might need a little bit of reform. Maybe we might need our nation to discover itself again and to cleanse itself again. Well, getting back to the story out of Dallas, 38-year-old schizophrenia sufferer Jason Harrison was killed last year by police within 30 seconds of them knocking on his front door. 30 seconds! Bump, 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 bump. Police opened up the door. Count to 30, and he's dead. Wow. Well, Harrison's mother called the cops because her son had harmed himself and was in need of medical attention. See, that's where this idiotic mom went wrong. You don't call the cops for medical attention. In my opinion, you don't call cops ever. Unless you need a police report. If you don't need a police report, don't call them. Well, when the police arrived at the scene in Dallas, Harrison's mother opened the door and told the police officers that that her son was just off the chain. He's off the chain. He's gone crazy. Can you talk to him? All right? He's bipolar and a schizo, she said. Harrison emerged from the house, twiddling a screwdriver in his hand, and asked, "Who's there?" The cops then immediately pointed guns at him and demanded that he drop the screwdriver. Really? I mean, how in the world can you, as a police officer, pull a gun on somebody who has a tool in their hand? A tool. Not a weapon, but a tool. Well, they did. The officers then say that Harrison lunged at them, so they shot him and killed him, shooting him multiple times. The video taken from the police body cam footage does not appear to show Harrison lunging at anybody. So what they're saying is a lie. What they're saying doesn't match up or support what they're saying. One of the officers is heard saying he was in the doorway, he had a screwdriver, we had this behind us, and we had to shoot. Well, here's the sick part of all of this, my friends. The grand jury declined to indict these officers, leaving the family members now frustrated and pained. Pursuing a federal civil rights lawsuit filed in October. We're not headed in the right direction for change. To try to taper off the activities that these guys are doing and getting away with. So said the brother, Sean Harrison. This is not the way to correct it. And that's what I was trying to get across to the audience tonight. And in Baltimore, Maryland, what's going on? The correct response is not violence, but we need correction. We need to right the wrong. We need police officers to get back to the basics and stop killing American citizens. They need to learn how to arrest somebody who's got a screwdriver in their hand without just automatically firing and killing. Sick. We maintain the footage shows him not stabbing, not thrusting, not lunging in a way that would jeopardize the lives of these officers. So said the family's attorney, Jeff Henley. He never leaves the front porch, and then he's gunned down. Wow. Henley previously noted that the footage highlights how ill-prepared cops are for dealing with mentally ill people who need medical attention. When you're dealing with somebody who's mentally ill, you're not supposed to agitate them. You're not supposed to move fast. You're not supposed to inflame. Of course they did. Oh, it was one of the most heartbreaking experiences in my life, said the mother, Shirley Harrison, of the incident. To stand there helpless. He's helpless. He couldn't help him. I couldn't help him. To be gunned down right in front of my eyes, she said. This is not the end. This is the beginning, Sean Harrison said. And we will fight to get people in place, in office, that we need. We need people to address these issues and make the accountability be there so we can have a great city. So I like his comments, and I agree with it. Unfortunately, this is not an isolated case. There are regular accounts of police resorting to deadly force when encountering mentally disturbed or challenged individuals. Experts are now expressing concern that cops are simply not trained to deal with these kind of situations. And of course, we talk about this every night on this show. It's a judge, jury, and executioner mentality with this police state. All right, folks, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break, and when we get back, we'll do some more, and we'll expose what's going on in America on Jon Arthur Live. Keep it right here on First Amendment Radio Network.
years ahead of the dominant media. FirstAmendmentRadio.com and FirstAmendmentRadio.net. Gold and silver is tremendously undervalued. Global demand vastly exceeds mine supply by more than 60% annually. There is little in the financial world more certain than a coming explosion in the prices of gold and silver. The U.S. dollar continues to lose value and respect as the world's reserve currency. Our nation faces challenges on many fronts, and a day doesn't pass without another economist bringing forth warnings of impending economic calamity. There has never been a better time than right now to acquire physical gold and silver. Discount Gold and Silver Trading was founded on the principles of truth and honesty. We believe in providing a quality product, quality service, and most importantly, competitive pricing. We provide all forms of precious metals, including American gold, silver, platinum, and rare investment and circulated coins. Silver bars, rounds, and 90% silver bags are on hand for the silver investor. Gold self-directed IRAs are available. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free, that's 1-800-375-4188.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. That's crosstheborder.org.
I know you all want answers, and believe me, so do I, and I'll do my best to get them.
Despite Nicolas Cage's promise to do his best to get left behind rapture answers for us, don't hold your breath. Not everyone believes Left Behind is true prophecy. Some may even regard as conspiratorial the mainstream re-release of the Left Behind movie with actor Nicolas Cage portraying the main character as an attempt to further reinforce in the minds of all this perception of false prophecy in order to condition the masses for the play about to begin. If you want true Bible prophecy answers, get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. The author exposes the Latin rapture origin, the 7-year tribulation deception, true Bible revelation of Daniel's 70 weeks, the abomination of desolation, the restrainer, America in the revelation, the image of the beast and the mark of the beast, and the truth about God's chosen people, and so much more about Bible prophecy. This book will shatter the left behind paradigm of future events. Get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. That's crosstheborder.org.
Are we walking into the enemy's camp, laying our weapons down, shedding our armor as we go, leaving it on the ground? We've got to be strong in the power of His light, prove to the enemy. We are the army of the Lord, and we've won the victory.
33 minutes after the hour, you're listening to the Jon Arthur Live Radio Show, coast to coast and around the world. Welcome back to segment number 2 of the fastest hour on your radio. If you'd like to be a part of the show, I would love to hear from you. All you have to do is pick up your telephone and dial in 253-323-7555, 253-323-7555. Be a part of the show. 253-323-7555. Welcome to the Jon Arthur Live Radio Show. Well, folks, we talked an awful lot about the police state. We've talked about what's going on in Baltimore, Maryland. We obviously understand that the world we live in is imploding. The world we live in is caving in around us. I do want to send a shout-out to a 21-year-old individual named Connor. I had the pleasure of officially meeting him yesterday, and he just graduated from missionary school, and I spoke with him probably for about 3 hours last night. Had a great talk with him, and he's very spirit-filled. Never in my life have I really, to be honest with you, thought that this younger generation would embrace Jesus Christ and Christianity. I truly believed that there really wasn't anyone else left. Until I spoke with this 21-year-old guy, and I was like, wow, there still is hope. There's still hope for our humanity. Well, again, I can tell you that I was very encouraged by the fact that that there still is the possibility of this generation accepting Christ and doing the right thing. Well, I have breaking news tonight, by the way. We were talking about Baltimore. This is breaking news as we speak. Martial law has now been enacted. The city is on fire. The National Guard has been activated. And this update was released about 15 minutes ago. The mayor conducted a press conference to announce that the governor has dedicated National Guard to quell the unrest. The mayor, Stephanie Rawlings Blake, also announced that a curfew will be enacted effective tomorrow from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. for 1 week and may be extended if necessary. If you're on the streets, it will be for 2 reasons: medical emergency or you're going to work, she said. Police commander stated that 15 police officers have been injured, 2 are hospitalized, caused by flying debris. Larry Hogan, the governor, signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency. Police officers were injured, stores looted, fires were set this evening, vandals running through Baltimore. City police say as many as 7 officers have been injured, all in northwest Baltimore, where a large group of juveniles converged and began throwing bricks at the police officers. The officers injured, broken bones, cuts. One was even unresponsive. CVS store on North and Pennsylvania Avenues were set on fire at around 6:15 this evening. Police have asked motorists to avoid the area. It all started, folks, due to the police state rearing its ugly head, violence against a man. Baltimore Police Captain Eric Kowalski said police were not speculating what disturbances are related to, but are making sure people in the community and officers are safe. Of course they know what caused this, but they don't want to talk about it. Kowalski said they know officers are in harm's way and are using tear gas and pepper balls. So the governor now of Maryland is basically calling out the National Guard. The city's been set on fire, martial law enacted, curfews. It sounds like V for Vendetta. How sick is this? How sick is this, my friends? Of course it's sick. It's a world gone mad. And then, yes, as expected, Reverend Al Sharpton says he's going to visit Baltimore. He's going to meet with the activists and so-called faith leaders. Please don't. Just please don't, is what I would say. Just don't. But there's total chaos, my friends. The city of Baltimore looks like a war zone. I mean, I see the pictures. I see the police vans on fire. And now you got a curfew, martial law. My goodness. Welcome to the New World Order, the testing ground. A week-long curfew. It's believed that the riots may, of course, be a result of flyers that were shared over the weekend on social media, asking high schoolers to rally. It's supposed to be a peaceful march for Freddie Gray, but things spiraled out of control. I mean, we're talking about a city on fire right now. By 7 p.m. tonight, about the time we started this radio show, Governor Larry Hogan declared a state of emergency, activating the National Guard, addressing the growing violence and the unrest. Businesses in downtown Baltimore closed early. Streets were eerily quiet. Workers and residents were fearing the protests and the violence would return. It's really sick, my friends. It really is. And sad to say, this is what we're seeing. But the martial law and the curfews, that's the frightening part of all of this. That's the insanity of all of this. Curfew in effect from 10 p.m. to 5 p.m. If you're not going to work, they'll probably shoot you to death. If it's not a medical emergency, they'll probably kill you. And what makes things worse is that the same mayor, Stephanie Rawlings Blake, who said we're going on tonight to put in this to place this curfew in place. She said what we see going on is going on in our city. It's very disturbing. It's clear there's a difference between what we saw over the past week with peaceful protests, those who wish to seek justice, those who wish to be heard and want answers, and the difference between these protests and the thugs who only want to incite violence and to destroy our city. This is the same woman, remember I read it to start off the show, who said she was allowing some violence to go on. So now, we're deploying every resource possible to gain control of the situation and ensure peace moving forward. This is the same woman who allowed this to happen. She should be held accountable for this. Tear gas, pepper spray being utilized by officers, and some of the worst damage, like I said, was at the CVS stores. Looters tearing through the whole building, engulfing it in flames. It's just bizarre what we're seeing going on in Baltimore, Maryland. But I'm not surprised by it. I'm really not. I'm not surprised one bit. But what I don't like is the martial law. What I don't like is the curfew. Because this sets a precedent that the police state at any kind of said emergency can just take over. And suddenly you have no rights, no freedom. I'll tell you what's worse, though, is a related story, and I'm going to give you the headline. Pastors. That's the first word, and a disturbing word in conjunction with this headline. Pastors want a 9 p.m. curfew and the National Guard to fight gang violence in Jacksonville. A group of Jacksonville pastors are calling for a curfew in parts of the city to help combat the surge in gang violence. So we've got Baltimore, Maryland. Now, we've got pastors that are entertaining in Jacksonville, Florida, the same scenario, but are calling for the curfew and the National Guard. The group is asking for a state of emergency to battle gang violence in Jacksonville. The request includes a 9 p.m. curfew and the Florida National Guard to help patrol Jacksonville's most dangerous neighborhoods to give the police adequate room for aggressive policy. Pastor Kenneth Adkins delivered letters to the mayor, Alvin Brown, and the sheriff, Jon Arthur, asking for a state of emergency to be declared in targeted neighborhoods. Adkins said the Grand Park neighborhood, the Moncrief corridor, and the area around Cleveland Arms Apartments should be included in the curfew with increased patrols. Again, these are pastors basically calling in the New World Order, calling in the police state. It's ironic. It really is. Well, Adkins went on to say that he has met with 44 other pastors backing the call for emergency actions, but he declined to name the other pastors in the alliance because some of them are getting pushback for being in support of the curfew. Well, thank God. If you want some pushback from this radio show, I'll be glad to give it to you. Because you as pastors should be the first ones to tell your flock to defend themselves and not call for a New World Order police state. All of them have received pressures from different people and from other pastors saying maybe y'all should do that. Atkins says he is getting a lot of hate from this. Atkins said he will also overnight a letter to Governor Rick Scott making the same request. I like Rick Scott. He's not perfect. But I thank God every day that he's our governor in the state of Florida. Well, the move comes 3 days after the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office announced that 2 shootings last week that left 3 people dead and several others injured were gang-related. So in Jacksonville, the gangs have just run rampant. An existing Jacksonville ordinance passed 12 years ago sets a weekday curfew of 11 p.m. for people under 18. And midnight on the weekends, unless they have a parent or a guardian's permission. So if they are on their way home from a job, the first violation would be a written warning, second is a $100 fine, etc. A new proposal is now calling for a 9 p.m. curfew, including exemptions for people traveling to and from work, church, or for an emergency, and it's not limited to juveniles. But how disturbing is it, folks, that, again, you have a call from pastors now to basically put this in place, to put the New World Order police state in place. I'm just sick to death of this. And I'm very disturbed by the activity, obviously, of a group of pastors that are supporting this move towards a police state. Now I can tell you this, my friends. I can tell you this emphatically, that we've seen pastors in the past support gun control, support the move towards the gun buyback programs. So this is nothing new when you have a group of black pastors calling for things that you would never think that any pastor would ever think about. But it's there. It is there. And it's disturbing, to say the least. 253-323-7555. 253-323-7555. Again, I just am troubled by what I see. I'm troubled by what I see, my friends. I really am. 253-323-7555 is the phone number if you'd like to get involved on the show. Again, pastors calling for a curfew, pastors calling for the National Guard, pastors, these pastors should be praying instead for the salvation of these gang members. These pastors should be praying for their city. But what are they doing instead? Instead of praying for their city, they're praying for the police state, calling for the police state. I'm very, very disturbed. I really am. Again, if you'd like to be a part of the show, I would love to talk to you, 253-323-7555, and hear your comments. I'm here to tell you, though, my friends, that I am still in the process of getting our 800 line transferred over to a new system. We've had just a hellacious time with it. And the simple fact that we're having a devil of a time getting that number transferred to this new system is a testament to what we fight on a daily basis. We're fighting a police state, a new world order, and then we're fighting a system that is becoming more and more satanic every day. It's a spiritual battle. It's good versus evil. And evil is becoming more and more prevalent these days. We have to pray harder. We have to read the Bible more. We have to be in lockstep and barrel with each other as Christians. That's why I really appreciated talking to Connor. I appreciate talking to a lot of folks like Ellen, Juanita, Brett. The list goes on and on. Folks that know the truth and know that something big's on the way, that something that's not right is headed our way. But, we just have to thank God. We have to tell God that from the bottom of our hearts that we want to thank him for being here for us, never leaving us, and always loving us, never forsaking us. You know, through my trials and tribulations recently, I have come to the realization that, you know, God loves me. I've come to the realization that God has people watching out for me. I have come to the realization that there are good people that will pray for you. In the midst of wherever you're at, you can be walking down an aisle in Walmart, and God will send somebody to you who will just boldly say, do you want me to pray for you? Do you want me to pray for you? And then when you say, yeah, I need prayer, they'll say, you know what? I've already prayed for you. I've already prayed for you. Praise God. Praise God, friends. Again, you know, we look at the world around us, and the world is falling apart. It is imploding. But there are splinters of good that shine through. There are splinters of good that can at least give you the saving grace knowledge that, you know what, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. One final story to close out the show. We've only got a couple of minutes, but I want to let you know that the next time you decide to hang out in a motel, maybe you're on a trip, maybe you're going somewhere, you might want to stay away from the Motel 6. You might want to not check in at the Motel 6. They're not leaving the light on for you. You know what they're doing? They're leaving the big brother on for you. Motel 6 in Rhode Island is quietly sending its daily guest list to the police, completely unbeknownst to its customers. A report detailed earlier this month has revealed. According to Warwick Mayor Scott Avelson, local police secured a deal with several Motel 6s for this information. All right, folks, we've come to the end of the show. God bless you. God bless America. God bless everybody out there who's praying for me, praying for this show, and praying for America. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless you, and God bless this republic. Have a great night.